Welcome everyone, I'm the Hero, and today we're gonna speak about the 2D beat 'em up Streets of Rage 4. The game was developed by Dotemu, Lizard Cube and God Crush Games and was published by Dotemu for Windows, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One and PlayStation 4 on April 30th, 2020. The game picks up 10 years after the events of Streets of Rage 3, Mr. X is no more, Axel and Blaze left the force, all that jazz. But then the new villains emerge, the children of Mr. X, the White Twins. Once again, Axel and Blaze, joined by new companions Cherry, Adam's daughter, and Floyd, an apprentice of Dr. Zahn, must take to the Streets of Rage. The gameplay is, in broad strokes, mostly the same as its predecessors, which is to say you still go around along your path, beating the shit out of anyone who opposes you and wishing Garcia didn't exist. That being said, the game has a new control scheme by default, which allows you to have pick up and hit on different buttons, so you won't accidentally grab a knife while on one pixel and having a fist rapidly approaching your face. However, they do provide the option to play in Legacy mode, for all that getting hit while picking up a knife accidentally goodness. The reason they made pick up and hit available as separate commands seems to be so that they can litter the ground in items at times in the later levels, or at least it felt like there were a lot more items than in previous games. Another difference between the days of old and new is that now the combo mechanic allows for juggle combos, which are how you will achieve most of your damage. Also, holding down the attack button now charges up a hit that when released seems to do less attack in your normal string. For example, Cherry's string ends in a Superman punch launcher, which is also the move she gets off of charging. There are also special moves which I admittedly didn't use enough to show off too much. These take a bit of your health to perform, but if you can hit enemies without getting hit yourself, your health will replenish to its original state. This game also allows you to play as characters from previous games in their original form, with their appropriate interpretation of this game's mechanics. As such, for example, Streets of Rage 1 Blaze, Axel and Adam can't do specials because they didn't have them. Now, this might raise the question of how they interact with the new juggle combos, and the answer is really about what you'd expect. They can do them, but nothing as crazy as the characters built with it in mind, at least from what I could tell. The nuke button returns. Without star move, it is now not tied to your lives, but to a separate counter that you replenish by finding stars in boxes and such. The game now also allows you to catch weapons midair after throwing them or hitting them out of an enemy's hand, which can be quite handy at times. And there's also a new, at least to me it is, recovery feature, where if you're to be knocked down, a well-timed press of the jump button allows you to recover faster. Alongside the returning characters are returning secret bosses that you can challenge by tasing an arcade machine in the levels they are present. These bosses are, from what I could tell, faithful recreations of their original counterparts, surroundings and all. The game has 4 game modes: Story, Arcade, Boss Rush and Battle. Where the first is self-explanatory, Arcade is the same as Story but with no continues or the ability to change characters between levels. Boss Rush is what it sounds like, and Battle is a mode where 2 players can square off against each other on a screen of a level, while enemies might occasionally spawn in. But to truly face off against one another, we need a roster, and I've brought up characters returning multiple times throughout this video, so how do you get characters? Well, one you get through going through the story, while others you get through amassing large amounts of lifetime score. As for how you acquire this elusive score, you just play the game. Appalling, I know. Anyway, moving on to the online for a small bit, on the title screen you get the option to join a random public lobby to play in, or while starting up a single player game, you can press a button to set up a private or public lobby yourself. Locally, you can play multiplayer up to 4 people, whilst online that number is shrunk to 2. Which didn't make sense when I first found out about it, but after experiencing it, it makes sense. While I have most certainly experienced worse online before, and while things mostly feel right when they work, the netcode is pretty fragile. With one of my friends, the mere existence of enemies is what caused us to disconnect, while with another, we didn't disconnect at all. We only desynced once, and even that was fixed by just restarting the level. It seems to work on a case-by-case basis, for better or worse. And the graphics. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like how some of the characters looked initially, but they grew on me, and because of those, paired with the lighting effects, the game looks pretty freaking good. I also liked how instead of them just being separate entities, the lighting effects interact with the pixel art of the old games. As for the music, it's not my style, but it does give off that 90s feel, so I'd say it's good. And if you dislike it that much, you have the option to turn on a retro soundtrack, which uses music from the previous games from the get-go. Overall, I think Streets of Rage 4 is a lot of fun. The only complaints I have against it are the online and the exclusion of Rue as a playable character, but otherwise, I like my time with the game. As for whether or not you should get this game, if you like beat 'em ups or want a good entry point to the genre, I'd say go for it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and with that, goodbye.